account so that you get notified when I post a video. Because you'd be surprised, but like, I think only 10% of my subscribers actually get notifications when I post a video. YouTube tells me that kind of thing in like the stats. Crazy, right? But yeah, please leave me some kind of comment, even if you don't usually comment on videos. Like, it can literally be anything. Because with each video that I've posted the last couple times, like, they successively get like worse and worse views. Like, I used to get around like 1,000, maybe 2,000 views on a video, which like isn't crazy or anything, but compared to the numbers I'm doing now, it's crazy. Because like the first video that I posted within like the last 4 weeks got like 300 views, and then the one I posted after that got like 200, and then the one I posted last week got like 100 and change. It might be up to 200 now, but like, honestly, it's crazy. Like, I don't know if YouTube just isn't recommending my videos or if it's recommending them to the wrong people, but yeah, it sucks. So please help me out with that. Maybe if I get more comments, YouTube will decide to recommend my videos to more people. I don't really know, honestly. I don't know how it works anymore, because I feel like I'm getting punished for uploading more frequently. Like, I used to upload like one video a month or whatever, and the first video I uploaded after like multiple months of not uploading anything got 2,000 views. That was my New Year's case that I did. So like, how does that work? Anyway, so on March 11th, 2025, a 22-year-old influencer, or live streamer anyway, by the name of Ai Mogami, was stabbed live on stream in broad daylight in Shinjuku, Tokyo. It's Mogami. I had a typo. So her real name was Airi Sato, and she, like I said, was a 22-year-old streamer who went by the name of Ai Mogami online. And she streamed on the site Watch TV, which apparently Japanese people call it Fu, which doesn't sound like Watch TV at all, so I don't know why they call it that, but anyway. She was one of their top streamers with 2,600 followers, which apparently is a lot for Watch TV. She was very active, and the kind of streams she did were basically like slice of life streams, I guess. She would really just like chat, interact with her audience, but sometimes she would do challenges where she would go around outside or talk to people on the street. But mostly she just interacted with her community that she built up online. One member of that community was Kenichi Takano, a 42-year-old man living in Okayama, Tochigi Prefecture. He watched her stream a lot and really liked her personality. He'd found her stream in December 2021, and he very quickly started to donate money to show his support for her. During his most active time donating, he was giving her about 100,000 yen a month, which is about $674. But at the time, it was worth a little bit more than that, since the yen has depreciated since then, so you could call it $1,000 a month. Maybe like 800, I don't know. I don't think it was ever like a one-to-one conversion of the yen, because they don't have cents. So basically, 100 yen is like $1, and 1,000 yen is like $10. But like I said, it's worth a little bit less than the dollar. It doesn't directly convert. Anyway, you basically just move the decimal point over too. So his frequent donations caught Ai's attention pretty quickly, because at the time she wasn't super popular, and so she still had a job at a restaurant as opposed to being a full-time streamer like she would eventually become. Takano donated about 400,000 yen in the first 2 months of 2022, which is about $4,000, or a little bit less than $4,000. And I decided to reach out to him directly and message him on the Line app, which is just like an app that a lot of Japanese people use for texting, like WhatsApp. I don't know what exactly they would talk about, but in August 2022, which is only about 8 months after he first started watching her streams, Takano started to visit her at the restaurant that she worked at. So I guess she invited him to visit her there, I don't really know. On September 2022, she started to ask him for money, and not just for donations on her streams, but to directly lend it to her, depositing it straight into her bank account. 8th, and within 1 minute, Takano got back to her, asking how much she needed, and that was the beginning of the end for him and for her. As I'm sure you can imagine, she didn't pay him back, despite saying she would, which is why this is even a story in the first place. Not even a week later, she messaged him saying that she'd lost her wallet and needed a few thousand yen to last her until the next day, which would be anywhere between $10 and $100, since like I said earlier, 1,000 yen is about $10-ish. She then asked him for another 20,000 yen, which is about $200, and when he said he couldn't do it with his card, she asked him to make a direct transfer from his bank account to hers. In that way, she kept asking him for more and more money, almost every week, and the amount she wanted each time got higher and higher, and the excuses for why she needed money in the first place got more and more ridiculous. One time, she said that she needed money because her sister was pregnant and she couldn't take care of the baby, so she needed money to help with that. So this is, their conversation would eventually get posted online, like screenshots of the chats, so this is from that. She said, I'm gonna read it in Japanese and then translate it to English. She said, I already messed up. Which is, I won't ask again, so can I please just get 50,000 yen? Which would be about $500. And he said, chotto matte ne, which is like, sure, hold on a sec. And she's just like, which is okay. And he was like, okay, 5万ならいけそう。8になったら振り込むね. Which is, okay, 50,000 should be doable. I'll transfer it at 8 o'clock, okay? Or it'll come through at 8 o'clock, okay? Or, ありがとう。あと、お姉ちゃん、子供一人捨てて、残り二人もほっぽって逃げて、実は今、入信してらしい。もうダメだわ. Which was, this one was harder, because in Japanese they leave out the subject a lot of the conversation, so it can be hard to tell, like, who's being talked about, but this is my translation. She basically said, thanks. Also, my older sister abandoned her child and left us two behind, and now it seems like she's pregnant. I can't do it. Literally, though, it says, like, one kid left behind, the leftover two are abandoned, ran away. Right now, seems like pregnant. So yeah, I just assumed it was being talked about, but anyway. That was basically their conversation. And even though Takano would say like, oh, it'll be difficult, like I might have trouble getting that money, he would usually always find a way to get it to her, since she needed it. So, not only was she basically guilting him into giving her money, she would also convince him to commit fraud. About 1 month into their whole situation, she asked him for money again, and he told her he was worried about his financial situation. Since Takano was unemployed, a lot of the money he gave her was either from his savings, from credit cards, or even from loans that he'd end up taking out from 2 different lenders. When he told her that, she just asked him where he got the money from, and he told her Eiffel and Daichu, which apparently are 2 of the biggest loan companies in Japan. She told him, just borrow from a different company, saying that she needed another 500,000, or 50,000 yen rather, right now. Ironically, the reason she needed the money this time was to pay off her loans. Even worse, though, is that he came clean and told her that he'd lied about his income and made up employment details to get the money, since, he didn't have a job. And instead of responding with literally anything sane, she told him that she looked into it, and he could pretend to be self-employed, or he could somehow, make it seem like he'd be receiving the money in, a tax-friendly way, which I don't know what that means, but, basically, she was saying that, technically that wouldn't be fraud, and he could get more money without proving that he could pay it back. No matter how much he would tell her that he had to lie and express that what he did was wrong in his opinion, she kept trying to weasel in with a twisted logic to convince him to get more loans, saying that it was impossible for banks to confirm whether the info you give them is true or not regarding your employment, which I'm pretty sure isn't the case, but whatever. She said that she knew because she'd done it herself herself. Either that, or she'd gotten other people to do it. He added on the fact that he'd been ignoring the credit companies up until that point, and that he would probably be getting a bill for payment in full because of that. I guess they would contact him and demand that he repay them all the money. He also said that the billing address he'd put down was his parents' house, so that implicated his whole family in it pretty much. So he was scared, but she didn't care. Eventually she told him that she wanted to die if she couldn't get the money. And of course he was like, don't say that. After that he fell asleep for about an hour, and then he messaged her saying, stay alive. And she said, Takano, I can't live without you. And he replied, I'm happy, me too, I can't live without you either. She finished off the conversation with, thank you as always, I love you. So clearly she was emotionally manipulating him. I want to add at this point that he'd never asked for nudes in exchange for money or anything like that, so that wasn't his motive for helping her like you might think. He always just said that he was happy to help. So around the end of January 2023, he started asking for her to pay him back the money he'd lent, which totaled around 2.5 million yen, which is about $17,000. And half of that money was from lenders or credit cards. He messaged her saying, Ashita wa hensai bi takara yoroshiku, which is basically, please pay me back tomorrow. And she said, Gomen 2日になってもいい, which is, can it be 2 days from now? And he was like, ma, nantoka, 2日にはお願いね. And he was like, nantoka is kind of hard to translate, but it's sort of like, something will work out, or like I'll make it work somehow, or like that kind of thing. And then he said, 2 days from now then, please. And that was on January 30th, and she didn't respond after that. On February 2nd, he hit her up again, saying, Furikomi onegai ne, which is, please transfer, okay? And then he said, Dou natteru, which is like, did something happen? And then he said, 2日って言うから2日にずらしたんやけど. He's basically complaining that she said, I'll pay you 2 days from now, but then she didn't do it. I couldn't find out what zura means. I guess it's some kind of slang. Because he said zurashtan, which is like, zura is the word, and then shita is like, was done. It's like the past tense. So yeah, I don't really know what that means, but I guess he's just complaining that it had been 2 days, that she said 2 days and then didn't do it. So anyway, on the next day, February 3rd, he said, Okane chanto kaishite ne, which is, pay me back like you said you would, basically. And then on February 5th, he said, Mo okane kaisuki nai no, which is like, so you don't feel like paying me back anymore. And finally she responded saying just chigao, which is basically like, she's saying like, no, that's not the case. So she was disagreeing with his statement of, you don't feel like paying me back anymore. So, and then he replied saying, so nano, which is just, is that so? So she stopped replying after that, and finally on 2/11, which is, the last message was on February 5th, so now it's February 11th. He basically messaged her saying that he was barely making ends meet himself, so he wouldn't be able to send her any money anymore. Please transfer the money. And on the 13th he said, I guess I won't be getting my money back. And on the 16th he said, are you willing to refund the money? So basically he was trying to get her to pay him back, but she just blew him off and ghosted him. And all that while she was ignoring him, she was still streaming and he was watching it. On those streams, she was celebrating the fact that she was engaged, and she was living together with her fiancé in a high-rise apartment. So she was well off enough financially to afford rent on a nice apartment, but she hadn't given him back a single cent of his money despite saying she would. That especially made him feel frustrated, and he started to lose hope of being paid back, I imagine. That isn't the point where he decided to stab her, though. Instead, he went through the right channels and sued her for the money. In December 2023, he won the lawsuit and the court ordered her to pay him back with 3% interest even. She was ordered to start paying him back from December 8th, though interestingly enough, she never showed up for any part of the trial, or the court hearing, or whatever. So some of the articles and videos that I watched said that she never paid him back a single cent, but one article I read said that she paid him back 30,000 yen, which is about $300, before ghosting him in January. So I'm not sure which is true, but either way, $300 isn't much compared to 17,000. So, if that was the end of it, I wouldn't be making this video because there wouldn't be a case. At the time, Takano was living in poverty, basically, and still without a job or a stable source of income. Though he did have his own apartment, so I don't know how he kept up with that, but winning the lawsuit must have been a huge relief to him until he realized that nothing was actually going to change. By January 2024, which is about a month after the trial, Takano hadn't received any money from Ai, so he went to the Tochigi Prefecture police to try to get them to do something about it. It can't be argued that she didn't know about the lawsuit, though, because she would talk about it all salty on her streams, saying things like, "I borrowed money and now I have to go to court," and the comments from a certain person saying, "Give me back my money," were so awful that I blocked him. And, you could argue that maybe he was harassing her, but he was asking very politely for his money back. Like, he didn't insult her or anything like that. He just said, "Please give me my money back." She would tell her audience that all she had to do was pay the money back to get rid of the lawsuit, all nonchalant, like it wasn't a big deal. So other than Ai talking about getting engaged and living in a nice apartment, Takano could see how much money she was making off her streams as her audience grew, and she got a platinum badge on Watch TV showing that she was one of the platform's top streamers. Apparently at that level, streamers would be making about 300,000 to 400,000 yen a month in donations, which is about 3 or 4 grand. And I don't know if it's anything like Twitch, but like on there, and on YouTube even, when you live stream, you can see the donations as they come in, can't you? Like, I've never done it, but... So, basically, she was making enough money to pay him back, clearly, but he wasn't seeing a single cent of that. Even worse, a private Twitter account was found that belonged to her, and showed her playing poker and winning a lot of money off of that, in addition. One post showed her holding a bag of chips worth 542,000 yen, which is about $5,000. So maybe that's what happened to some of the money that he gave her. So Takano was watching a woman he cared about and who had pretended to care about him live it up and rake in money. And even though a court had ordered her to pay him back, she wasn't facing any consequences for ignoring the court order. At that point, there was nothing left for him to do legally, and he couldn't talk to her anymore even since she had blocked him, or just wasn't responding. He sent one final message on March 7th, 2025, where he blamed himself for falling in love and being deceived, and asking her one last time to please pay him back. He asked her to just pay back even 10,000 yen, which is literally like $100, so a fraction of the 17,000 she owed him. He said he had been taking a lot of pills recently, and had been sleeping all day because of how depressed he was. But of course that message went ignored. 4 days later, on March 11th of this year, Ai announced on her stream that she was going to do a walk along the JR Yamanote line, which is a train line that goes through the Shinjuku area of Tokyo, which I would consider to be a part of, like, downtown Tokyo. Like, I don't know, technically or not, but, like, Shinjuku is a pretty, you know, that's like saying you're in Hell's Kitchen in Manhattan or something. I don't know, but anyway, it's not like the outskirts of Tokyo or, like, some random place. It's in the middle of the city. Also, that's so random. Like, why would you walk along a train line? Like, I don't think she was literally walking next to the tracks, but still. So anyway, Takano recognized the area, and of course anyone could look up the train line on a map and see where it goes. So we got on a train from Tochigi, where he lived, to Tokyo, which is a 2-hour train ride. In that time, she made her way to the area of Takatanobaba Station, and Takano got off the subway and started to try to find her on foot. At the time, she was live streaming to over 6,500 people. Takano found the area where she had her tripod set up and and right in front of the camera, he pulled out a knife and stabbed her in the neck and chest area 30 times. He was said to just have a blank look in his eyes while she screamed. At some point, the camera must have gotten knocked over because the screen went black, but the stream continued, and Takano could be heard kicking Ai as she lay on the ground after she had gone silent, and saying over and over again, "Are you dead yet?" Sirens could already be heard in the background. A 53-year-old construction company employee who was working on the second floor of a building about 200 feet from the site said he heard a woman screaming outside just before 10 a.m. And he said that the screams went on for close to a minute. Somewhere between 30 seconds and a minute, which is a long time to listen to someone scream. He said he rushed to a window and saw a woman in a gray sweatshirt lying on her back. A man wearing a dark coat was looking at her from above. Quote, "The man appeared to be talking to her. He looked very calm, so I thought he was helping her," the construction company employee said. He saw a passerby make a phone call, and police arrived about 5 minutes later and began questioning the man, who of course was Takano. The employee said a school was located nearby, but the area was relatively quiet except during rush hour. Quote, "I can't believe such an incident happened near me," the man said. "The woman's screams are stuck in my head." So, Takano was arrested immediately, and he didn't even try to pretend to be a bystander or to run away. Initially, though, he denied intending to kill Ai. I'm going to go back and forth between calling her Ai and Airi, but Ai is her streaming name and Airi is her real name. Just, for clarification. So yeah, he initially denied intending to kill her, telling police, quote, "I brought the knife for no particular purpose," even though he went there with 3 knives, not just one. And apparently he had ordered the knives online a couple months earlier, because this was like a hunting knife, not just like a kitchen knife. Airi Sato was taken to the hospital, but pronounced dead. An autopsy showed that the fatal blow was a stab to her neck, and that she had died of hemorrhagic shock, which I guess is just bleeding out. No surprise there, right? After being stabbed 30 times. Takano told investigators that he felt unbearable frustration at the thought of Airi continuing to earn money through live streaming while refusing to pay her debt to him. Quote, "I saw a notice about her live streaming schedule and came to Tokyo on the morning of that day. Then I identified her location by watching the live video she was streaming." The police said Takano has consistently explained his actions on the day of the incident, and that they believe he's mentally competent to be held criminally responsible. Quote, "I thought the world would know what she had done if I created an incident and a trial was held," he told investigators. Right after the stabbing, there wasn't just chaos in the Shinjuku street where it happened, but also online, but not for the reason that you would think. Apparently, there's a voice actress who's also named Ai Mogami, because basically when people started talking about it online, I guess people from the live stream, other people saw those like tweets or whatever and thought that the voice actress was the one who had been killed, and so her Twitter started getting flooded with tweets and DMs asking if she was okay. It was so bad that her agency had to put out a statement being like, "Our Ai Mogami isn't the one who got killed. Condolences, though." They didn't obviously say it like that. They said it more professionally, but it's kind of crazy, honestly. Like, I couldn't help but laugh when I read that. Like, bruh, it's a little much. Anyway, that post got over 30 million views, so a lot of people were afraid for that voice actress. So a lot of the time when news comes out of someone getting killed in Japan, like someone getting murdered, a lot of the comments on like news sites or social media tend to be kind of split in between people who are sympathetic about the murder and people who victim blame the victim. Like, a lot of people can be pretty unsympathetic to women who get killed in Japan, online anyway. But usually like there's more people who are sympathetic rather than people who are like victim blamers. Like, those people are usually in the minority relatively. Though, everyone has to act all edgy online. But anyway, this case, a lot of the news that has come out surrounding it said things like, no matter what, you can't stab someone to death though, like no matter what they do. And of course him kicking her after she had gone down was especially bad. So a memorial, like a roadside memorial shrine kind of thing, was made by fans at the site of the stabbing, and a lot of people left offerings. I read that it was a lot of like snacks and juice and stuff like that. But there have been videos online of people going there and stomping through the memorial or kicking things over. Another person left sponges at the memorial, which is basically just calling her, you know, a sponge. Like she was sponging off of people. So, you know, they had to get a jab in, even though she was already dead. Since the stabbing, some more viewers of hers have come out to say that she extorted them too, and some of them were even high school kids who took their parents' money to donate to her. A mom said she was mad that her son had been donating hundreds of dollars, and that Ai said the same things to him as she had said to Takano, especially that she would die if she didn't get the money that she wanted from him. Airi's fiancé made a Twitter account for the sole purpose of making a public statement to everyone about, you know, Ai. Apparently he did a live stream to talk about the whole case too, but I couldn't find anything regarding like what he said. So he posted videos and pictures of him and her together as well. He said that he had lent her millions of yen himself, which is kind of crazy honestly. But then he also tried to discredit the screenshots of Ai and Takano's messages that Takano had posted, saying that there's a lot of misinformation, and that the story can't be concluded from a few line messages. He complained that this was a double murder, one in real life and one of her reputation online. He also said the classic, please allow her friends and family to mourn her in peace, and asked people not to spread misinformation about the financial matters. He finished off by saying that she's no longer here to defend herself on Twitter, so I ask for your understanding. Which, like, defending herself on Twitter really isn't the biggest deal. Like, she died, and that's what you're worried about. I don't know. It would suck to see a person that you loved being slandered by random people online, though, so. A lot of experts were interviewed about the case, and they talked about how live streaming is dangerous and people should do it with a time delay or in a place you can't figure out where it is, such as like a place with no windows. In an interview, someone said, quote, "It's not uncommon to see soto haishin, where streamers walk around outdoors while streaming," an acquaintance of Airi told a newspaper. In the past, however, there have been incidents where viewers discovered a streamer's location, leading to dangerous situations. Japan has already witnessed violent incidents involving live streamers. In January 2022, a 33-year-old female streamer in Koshikaya, Saitama Prefecture, was murdered by a man in his 20s. According to reports, the woman had told the man she needed space. Enraged by her rejection, he dragged her down and fatally attacked her in her house. Although authorities have not confirmed whether she was live streaming at the time, they believe their relationship stemmed from her online presence. There was another case that I saw where a person, like I don't know if it was an actress or a model or a streamer or what, but she posted a photo of herself in her house, and it was just like a photo with a window in the background. Or no, it wasn't even a window in the background. It was just the wall in the background, and she was facing a window. And some stalker guy, like, enlarged and enhanced the picture so that he could see the reflection of the outside that was in her eyeball. Like, the tiny little reflection in her eye. And in that reflection, I think he recognized a building that happened to be near a train station. So he found her location based off of that. And I don't remember what happened. I feel like that was a Japanese case, but I'm really not sure, honestly. I think she like survived though. I think it was just like, overall it was like a really unpleasant encounter. But like I don't think she was attacked. Like, I don't think she was attacked. Anyway, I'm not minimizing that at all, but yeah. There was also another case, and I actually covered this one, where a singer named Mayu Tomita was tracked down at like an event that she was doing, like a concert, by a fan, and he had sent her stuff, like a watch or whatever, like sent her gifts, and she had turned them down, and I didn't think she even interacted with him. But he showed up at her concert and stabbed her a bunch of times, and she actually survived. But she was left like physically disabled from the attack, and worst of all, I guess, she was left unable to play the guitar anymore. So because she had like nerve damage in her hands, or her Consumer Affairs Center of Japan complains about issues related to super chats, which I feel like most people would know, but if you don't know, super chats are just like chats where you donate money on a stream. So complaints about those have been on the rise, with some viewers expressing dissatisfaction when they didn't receive any benefits after donating the money. Finally, Takayuki Harada, a professor of criminal psychology at the University of Tsukuba, pointed out, quote, choosing a live stream as the scene of a crime can be considered a modern form of a theatrical crime. He added, even if a streamer wants to increase their fan base, it's important not to interact recklessly with viewers. When live streaming outdoors, it's crucial to avoid actions that could lead to the revelation of private information or one's location. So yeah, that's the case so far. Obviously this literally just happened. It's been like, today's the 23rd, I guess, since it's like 2 a.m. Yeah, so it's really only been like 11 days, I guess, since this happened. So, I imagine that from this point on, they'll probably do a psychological evaluation, and then obviously, like, it'll be tried, and I'm sure he'll probably be sent to jail. I doubt he's gonna get off on this. Maybe he could plead, like, temporary insanity or something. I doubt that he'll get, like, the death penalty or anything, because in Japan, usually, the death penalty is reserved for, crimes where multiple victims were killed. So, that's the case. Or yeah, I'm sure there'll be updates. I don't know if I'll do an update video. Probably not, unless, like, something crazy happens. Like, he confessed, and he's gonna go to jail. Like, that's pretty much all there is to it. Unless he gets let off. But yeah. So, leave me a comment, let me know your thoughts on this case. Obviously, like I said, personally, like, overall, obviously, no one should ever get murdered. Like, unless it's self-defense or something, there's no excuse for murdering someone. But I can't really be mad at Takana, like, he really tried everything that he could try, and in the end, he couldn't get his money back. And of course, you could argue, like, he never had to send her money, but on the other hand, she was emotionally extorting him. So, I don't know. I guess the moral of the story is don't donate money to streamers. Or, I guess, if you donate money to streamers, you have to have the understanding that you're not gonna have a relationship with them. Like, you can't expect them to even be friends with you, let alone, like, give you thousands of dollars back if you lend it to them. I think after this I'm gonna do like an April Fool's video. Like, I found an article that was like April Fool's pranks that ended in death. So I'm probably gonna do a video about that. And then after that I'll probably do my tattoo tour video. I know I talked about that, the German Wings flight, where the guy flew a plane into a mountain and as a form of suicide and killed, a couple, well, not a couple hundred, but between 100 and 200 people who were on the plane. And I was talking about doing that case, and I still will, but it'll probably come out after the tattoo tour one. I'm hoping the tattoo tour one will get a lot of views, so that maybe YouTube will unshadow ban me or whatever it is. Like, I really don't understand why this is happening to me, like, why my videos are, like, not being shown.